Good morning, everyone. Happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Squeeze the Juice, the Thanksgiving edition. It is going to be a fun one today. A little short, but lots to discuss.
This is my favorite holiday of the year. I love it. I've always talked about Thanksgiving. It's got three of the most important things in life. You got food. Amazing food, in my opinion. Some people don't like it, but I love the Thanksgiving feast. You got family. Family's important. Sometimes you got friends, too. You can throw them in there. But then, most importantly on this day, football, right? That's what we're here for. So I'm excited to talk about the games. These are some really fun games. I think this is one of the better Thanksgiving slates we've had in a couple of years.
I agree.
So I'm excited to get into it. And, this is just... It's such a fun holiday, so I'm ready to roll, man. I'm ready to roll.
It's a national football holiday.
It really is.
Especially for us, because even though we are Lions fans, well, I can't say that this right now. I can't say, unfortunately, that we're Lions fans. We are Lions fans
Lions fans,
now.
yeah,
and
true.
we always play on Thanksgiving. So for us, it really is kind of like a football holiday.
It's our game. It's our
game.
Super Bowl in some ways because we know we'll probably never reach one, but at least we have the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, which has been tough the last couple of years, but... We will dive into it today. We're just rolling with the 3-game NFL slate today, and we're just going to enjoy and love it and get into it all Thanksgiving, all the time. Shout out to the turkey boy. He's eating that football turkey today.
Gobble, gobble.
We got a lot of extra visuals for all you listeners today. Go check out the YouTube channel because we got some more stuff cooking.
We are. We're cooking big time right
little
now.
upgrades.
We got a big pot of stew, and it is boiling.
Boiling over.
Potatoes, peas, carrots, beef.
You
we
big
got it
stew
all
guy?
cooking. I like stew.
Yeah, he's a
Not
great
on
guy.
Thanksgiving, though, but I like stew.
He's a great guy. Ready to roll. All right. Shout out the first game of the slate. It is our boys hosting the Bills. Bills at Lions. Lions plus 9.5 or Bills minus 9.5. It is a crazy time. The Bills could have came into this one on a 3-game losing streak. They ended up winning in Detroit after that snowstorm against they had to come here against the Browns. And Detroit is on a 3-game win streak heading into Thanksgiving.
It's crazy. I did not think 3 weeks ago we'd be sitting here looking at this game thinking this is a chance for the Lions to make a potential push at the playoffs, right? This is one of those signature games where if you can come out and win this one, now you're looking at a 5-6 football team with a very favorable back half of the schedule. Mm-hmm. There's an opportunity here for the Lions to really make some noise. Now, with that being said, the Lions in the past 5 Thanksgiving Day games are 0-5. They have not had a ton of success in this game as of late, and it's concerning when you look at the history there, and then you pile that on with no Jeff Okudah this week due to a concussion he suffered in the game against the Giants. No Evan Brown or Jonah Jackson. Those are 2 of your starting guards now. Those guys are banged up. They're not going to go. So the interior of the offensive line is looking a bit shaky, and you don't have your best cornerback either. Probably your best defensive player overall this season in Jeff Okudah. That's a big loss, especially when you're going up against Stephon Diggs and that passing attack that the Bills possess. But I look at this game. It's going to be tough because the defensive line of the Bills, it's solid, right? They're able to get after the quarterback. They're able to defend the run well, but it's not like this is the most scary defense in the NFL either. So I think this game ends up being a shootout. I like this game. A lot of points. Josh Allen, Jared Goff. I think they're going to blow or exchange punches. And I don't know. What are you thinking about this one? Because I got some more on my mind, but I want to hear your thoughts. Because, you have one team that's riding hot in the Lions, and then you got the Bills who have been somewhat shaky over the past few weeks.
It's true. It's more of is it going to be a crazy shootout or is something going to go wrong and it's just like beat the brakes off of somebody?
I know.
It's a very controversial game. It is Thanksgiving. It's kind of like that extra boost in the Lions, organization. It's like it's Thanksgiving game, like you said, kind of our Super Bowl at times, right?
That's how. Yeah, the fans are going to be loud, electric. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere, especially with the team riding hot.
Yeah, it's normally the best game of the year, more often than not. Not saying we play the best, but like fan-wise, everyone really loves Thanksgiving games here. But yeah, Lions on a 3-game win streak. It was interesting how last week happened. You got the Giants. I didn't know how much was going to happen, but they ended up beating the Giants. Bills played okay against the Browns. They did end up winning. It wasn't it wasn't crazy, but
they controlled the game.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of how they ended up winning. But Lions have just been head down, just grinding and just hitting people where it hurts. And what's his name, McNeil, who came back recently?
Had a great game against the Giants.
Amazing, man, just tearing through the offensive lines. It's going to be a wild game, I believe. But it's quite a large point differential, right?
It is.
That's pretty high.
A lot of points.
9.5 is a lot of points. So, would you like me to go first?
Go first, please. Yeah.
So, I love this game. In my mind, the Bills end up winning this game, but I'm rooting for the Lions, and I'm taking the Lions plus 9.5.
All right. I mean, I feel like we got to, but here's something that maybe will ease your mind about this pick. So, over the win streak that the Lions have had, past 3 games, they're allowing just a 70.6 passer rating. Wow. Which is good for second in the NFL. Now, I know you're going to look at the teams that they played. Last week, Daniel Jones, not a very prolific passing attack. The week before, you had Justin Fields. He's been doing it with his legs, not really his arm. The week before, Aaron Rodgers. That offense has been a mess all season. So, you look at the teams they face, it's indicative of having a really good passer rating, but give credit to the Lions' defense, too, because before that, they were probably the last in the NFL in passer rating
100%.
Because everyone was just throwing on them. So, they've made a ton of improvements. Aubrey Pleasant getting fired was a shocking move to some, but it appears that it's been wonders for the back end because they've been performing very well. So, look, I'm with you. I'm riding with the Lions. I'm not saying they win, but I know this is going to be so electric. It's going to be just a positive energy, I feel like, with the 3-game win streak. Now they're up to 4 wins. Now that they're building something. We asked Dan Campbell, can you respond? When we got on here after the Cowboys lost 1-6, can you do something? Can you do something? Because if this season goes down to 1-7, 1-8, now you're looking at 1-9, 1-10. How bad could it get? When you aren't winning games, They've responded. They've done a really good job of responding, and I'm not saying they win this game, but 9.5 is a lot of points, and I think maybe it's Buffalo all the way, but we could get a sneaky backdoor cover too. I mean,
yeah,
you could go from, I don't know, a 16-point deficit, 1 touchdown gets you within the ballpark here.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're up 2. Something happens. They're up 2 scores. We get a late one, and then they just kind of clock it and kind of there's situation.
There's a lot that can go wrong for the Bills in this game when you look at this number. So I love the Lions here, and it's time to validate this win streak. It's time to validate this season. Let's go for a statement here. Detroit Lions.
Ooh, I like that. I'm glad you finished that because I didn't know what to say after that.
Well, I couldn't do Detroit basketball. I was gonna do, that would have sounded dumb. So
yeah, I know. It's just funny
whisper.
Though.
Lions. Oh, I love it. Turkey Day is awesome, and this is my favorite game of the year. I mean, waking up. I don't know what time I'm going to be waking up after
it's
Wednesday
night shenanigans,
game. But yeah, I love the 12:30 start. It's always been 12:30. I love the 12:30 start, and then you get into it. You're watching Lions. You're eating turkey. You're eating mashed potatoes, sweet potato. I don't know what you're eating, but you're eating something, and you're watching this team probably lose. But hey, we're gonna have fun doing it too.
Exactly. Hey, and if we win, what a day!
What all bets are off at that point.
Yeah.
So Lions 9.5. We're both riding. Let's go.
Detroit till we die, baby. All right, game 1. Check it, book it. On to game 2 down in Dallas. The Giants head to Dallas. Same spread, but swapped. We got the Giants plus 9.5 and Dallas, the home team, minus 9.5.
So I don't really like how these games are laying such big numbers. I don't feel like...
What is this, college?
I know. It really does feel that way because I don't think Dallas is a 9.5 point. Look, they had a really good game against Minnesota last week. Full credit to them. But we told you Minnesota was fraudulent. I mean, I was on that.
I know. I was waiting for you to call them out.
They have not been performing. We're going to talk about Minnesota because that's the last game of the Thanksgiving slate here. But the Giants, look, they struggled last week. For whatever reason, they couldn't get the ground game run against the Lions defense that had been giving up a ton of yards to the ground. I just look at this game. I'm looking at the Giants here. I think Brian Daboll is a really good head coach. I think he knows that last week was a mess and that last week was a really poor performance. He's the kind of coach that I can believe in. If he's truly a good coach, he's going to have his guys ready to go in this game. He's going to have his guys ready to get up off the mat, bounce back after a poor performance. And look, the good news is for the Giants, they're good at running the football. They are. They struggled last week, but they can control the game. They can control the clock here in this one. I don't really trust Dallas to, make a ton of plays in the run game. They have a really good defensive line, and they're able to get after the quarterback, but Micah Parsons got banged up in that win last week against Minnesota, so not having him could really impact what they're able to do schematically defensively because he's just a chess piece. He goes everywhere. So depending on his status for the game, I think that really, really plays a huge factor. So I'm going to trust Daboll to get this team ready to go on Thursday. And look, Dallas is running a 3-game losing streak on Thanksgiving too. So it's not like they've been world beaters on this holiday. So I think this 9.5 is a little hyperinflated. I'm going with the Giants here plus 9.5.
It's a wild. Yeah, I agree. These numbers are just not fun to mess with right now because they're way too high. But they could be minus +1, and that could be a little more stressful. But I feel like sometimes even with higher numbers, it may seem more crazy. But I feel like sometimes you can be a little more confident in a pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Giants will respond. I agree. Dallas really showed out last week. I don't know why. Partially probably because of Minnesota not being as legit as they are, but they just crumbled, which was crazy. That defense got exposed, even though they played that great game against the Bills. But does that show that the Bills are not that good in certain situations?
Yeah.
There was some little luck into it, fumbling, down at the goal line. But it is a tough game. I agree. Dallas has lost multiple times on Thanksgiving. High number, but I am gonna go with Dallas minus 9.5. I think they are just better than the Giants, realistically. It's a stretch, I think. I do in this pick because I could see it end up being, a touchdown loss, right? Like the Giants can play well enough, but I think the Cowboys still get it done. But I don't know. I'm just gonna ride the Cowboys in this one.
No, it's a solid pick. Look, these two teams are really good against the spread. They're 7-3 on the year, so they've been able to cover spreads at will. And another thing that is concerning is this line did open up at 6.5. It's jumped up to 9.5 now, so I don't really know what's going into that.
Unless Saquon's not playing or something, but he's supposed to be.
Yeah, Saquon's good to go, and Micah Parsons is the one who, on the other end, is the one that's banged up. So, I think it's really just because the Cowboys dominated last week and the Giants lost against the Lions that you're seeing a spread that's a little bit indicative of their performances last week. I think Brian Daboll is a much better head coach than what, the team played like last week. I think that was just a really good performance by Dan Campbell and the Lions. Just really game plan, just out executed last week. I think Daboll, I think the Giants can respond after a loss. And they already played earlier in the season. It was a 7-point game. I'm not saying that it's going to happen again, but Dallas did win earlier in the year. It was a 7-point win. I think the Giants can keep it one score.
I also forgot that Wan'Dale Robinson tore his ACL and is out for the season.
He did.
So that's another threat for Danny Dimes, who already lost Kadarius Toney for the trade. Another man down.
Sterling Shepard tore his ACL.
So
it's basically just Darius Slayton and whatever's left of Kenny Galladay.
Exactly. But Kenny Galladay's been trash, so it's really Slate. If you want to throw it, you throw it to Slayton. Otherwise, it's all on Saquon.
Right, and they also lost promising rookie Daniel Bellinger to a freak eye injury that happened. That was so scary what happened to him. We don't have to break it down, but just the amount of weapons that they've lost in the passing attack, it's been significant. But this is a Giants team that doesn't really pass the ball much anyway.
It's true.
From the start of the season, they've been ball control, keeping care of the football, and basically running you out of the game. That's what they've been doing. And last week, you saw when they turn the ball over, have a couple mistakes, they can't play their style of football. So if Daniel Jones can take care of the football, not make mistakes, and if they can sustain drives, they should be just fine to cover this spread. But I do agree, I think it's a little bit easier to bet Dallas in this one, just looking at it's a home game. they're coming off a huge win, and that offense is humming right now. They have all their weapons. And defensively, even if they don't have Parsons, they still have a really good team. So, yeah, it's safe to pick Dallas here, but
it's
still a divisional game.
Exactly, that's the big factor.
It's tough for me to lay a big number in a divisional game. Like that's just the way I look at it. Like most divisional games, they're usually one score because they the opponents know each other. They usually keep it close. The players know it means more, and these are two teams right in the thick of it because Philly. They haven't looked that impressive. I think Philly's gettable right now. Yeah. So
and this is a battle for second right now.
They know they need to win this game. So I like the Giants, I like the Cowboys. We'll see. We'll see what happens in Jerry World.
A little fun. Together on the home team, separate on another. All right, the final third game of the Thanksgiving slate. Our boys head to Minnesota. Patriots in Minnesota, plus 2.5 Patriots, minus 2.5 Vikings. Both played ugly games last week.
They did.
Both played ugly games. They both could have scored only 3 points last week.
I mean, look, the Pats, their defense is unreal. They are just outstanding on that side of the football. I mean, I know the Jets' offense isn't much to brag about, but still, the Jets did not have, if I'm mistaken, a single. I'm forgetting what I think. Zach Wilson didn't have like a single snap in the opposing end in the second half or something like that. It was crazy what they were able to do to that offense. But
they're like 3 passing yards. Or
it was crazy, like out of this world numbers. It just like what that shouldn't happen in an NFL game, and then you have the unreal punt return touchdown to win it for New England, Marcus
crazy.
Jones, unreal. But I told you, they're frauds. They've been winning all these close games. They're 8-2. Do you want to know what their point differential is? -2. -2, and they're 8-2. So they're not a good football team.
We should have beat them.
We should have. They've been riding such a lucky streak, and it finally caught up to them because they played a Dallas team that wasn't going to have it. But look, 80% of the bets on the spread, according to FanDuel, are on the Vikings. But yet the spread went from -3.5 to -2.5. So it's moving in the opposite direction as opposed to everyone putting their money on the Vikings here. So with that being said, Pats are also 3-2 in Thanksgiving Day games. And look, I don't think you should be surprised with this one. I'm taking the Pats. It's science here.
I'm not shocked at all.
Bill Belichick has his defense ready to go. Mac Jones looked better last week. I know that it was an ugly game, but he threw for the second most yards against the Jets defense this season that they've allowed. I think the passing game is improving. I think the offensive line for the Patriots is struggling mightily, but at the same time, Vikings offensive line is banged up. It's primetime Kirk Cousins. I'm not putting my faith into that. So, look, I know it was an ugly win and it was an ugly loss for the Vikings, but 2.5 points. I like the Pats to win this one, honestly. I'm going to take the 2.5, but I think the Pats win this one easily.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice battle. It's going to be a nice battle. The best factor is agreed, the Patriots defense. If you're going between defense, offense of both teams, the best thing between all of them is the Patriots defense. Absolutely.
Easily.
Yeah, easily. The numbers they've been putting up, just the way they've been doing anything. Your boy, Judon, just carrying.
Judon, Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones. Look, that secondary for New England is unreal. It's insane what they've been able to do, even though they lost J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, that was...
everyone was like, you're letting go of your number one corner? Doesn't matter.
He got paid, and what's he doing now?
He's rehabbing from an injury, unfortunately.
Exactly.
But, it's just one of those things where I look at this team in New England, and I know it hasn't looked good at times offensively, but this is also a Vikings defense that's allowing 7.6 yards per attempt. They're not very good in the back end. So if there's an opportunity for this passing attack to get it right, it's probably this game. And you saw what Dak did against them last week.
I did. And that's huge because you get that right away, easy, quick run. You don't even need to hit the third downs. You just go 1-2 punch all the way down. So I guess it depends on how it goes. Yeah, Patriots, Vikings. I think it's still going to be a close one, but I agree. I think the Patriots do get it done. The plus 2.5 is It's the odds are better for them 100%, and just I agree. Primetime Kirk Cousins.
It's primetime Kirk. I don't know how so many people are betting on the Vikings to cover the spread when you have primetime Kirk.
I think it's because they're expecting a bounce back. I think they're expecting it's technically prime time, even though that's not really a good thing. Thanksgiving. I don't know. I feel like they're just they're like home, just like everything, bounce back home team Thanksgiving.
I mean, maybe it's a bounce back spot for Minnesota, but you're trying to bounce back against Bill Belichick and that defense. That's a tough ask. Like, that's a really tough ask.
It is. And if the offense starts rolling, they're not stopping. There's nothing you're going to do.
Right. I mean, look, if Ramondre Stevenson in this running game gets going for New England, then they're able to open up the play action. They're able to get some plays downfield. You'd couple that. I mean, the Patriots only need realistically like 24 points in this game to win. Because if they hold Minnesota to like 17 or less, like I'm pretty confident in the Pats offense to score 20 points.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, at least. So I think it ends up being a close game. I do agree there. But I like New England to win. Like, I'm honestly tempted to take them on the money line here. I might just. You know what? Screw it. Patriots money line. I don't even care about the 2.5. Patriots money line. I love that pick. I hate Minnesota. I hate Kirk Cousins. They're frauds, and I'm going to continue to believe it until I see otherwise. Because look,
money.
All their wins to me are fake. They have fake wins, and when the going gets tough, look at their games against
the Vikings don't get going.
Eagles and Cowboys. What happened there? You got embarrassed by Philadelphia on Monday Night Football, and the Cowboys showed you up at your own place. So I'm sorry. I don't trust you, and I'm not going to trust you. I'm going to trust Bill Belichick and the New England defense. This is not even me being biased. This is me telling you, Kirk Cousins is a fraud. It's primetime Kirk. There's no chance they win this game. Their luck is over. Your luck is over. I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
But I'm not sorry. You're done, Minnesota. You're done.
It's over. They just start losing continuously from this point on.
I think they could. I don't know what their schedule is, but I'm telling you right now, Minnesota is the fakest team I've ever seen. They are TCU.
Oh, man.
They are. They are the TCU of the NFL. They are so fake. It is unreal.
That's actually quite a statement. They're the TCU of the NFL.
They just they keep winning games, but you're like, okay, but they look terrible in these wins. Like, they don't look impressive at all. Like, they probably should have 3, 4, 5 losses.
So, rest of the Vikings schedule after this game. Home against the Jets.
Okay, we'll see.
In Detroit. If we're hot,
I like that spot.
Home against the Colts.
That's probably a win, but the Colts are the Colts.
Home against the Giants.
That's a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one.
That's on Christmas Eve.
That's a tough game. I think that's a really tough game.
And then they head to Green Bay and then to Chicago to close out their season.
That's not really a daunting schedule, but I don't really trust this team that much still. So I could see maybe 3 losses in there. That wouldn't surprise me if because their schedule's so weak, I could see 3, 4 losses in there. Just
if the Packers get something back, they can surprise and beat them at Lambeau.
I mean,
I don't think the Bears beat them, but I think that could be a surprise game. Only because it's at Lambeau.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they have the division locked up by them because the NFC North has just been so bad, and they unfortunately have a massive lead in the NFC North. But I mean, the Lions are in second place in the NFC North. It's crazy.
I know. And
3 weeks ago, we were looking at the number 1 pick. Now we're second place in the division.
You know what's crazy? Let's see. Who do we got? The Packers play. Who are the Packers playing this week? The Packers play in Philly.
That's probably
Sunday.
A loss.
Sunday night.
That's probably a loss, but.
So, man, if we beat the Bills, dude.
Look, if you get to 5-6, and if the Vikings lose here, they'd be 8-3. All bets are off. I mean, you got another game against the Vikings. And then you got the Panthers on the schedule, so you got the Lions still have the Jets. They have the Bears again. They have the Packers again. Look, the schedules between the Vikings and Lions are very similar. It's going to come down to who wins these big games, the divisional games. If the Lions can beat the Vikings, if they can beat the Packers, if they can beat the Bears, that's going to go a long way because I'll tell you what, the Vikings against the Bears earlier in the season, they should have lost that game. The Vikings against the Lions earlier in the season, they should have lost that game. There's a lot of games that the Vikings should have lost. So there are games on the schedule that they probably will lose. It's just,
It's inevitable.
It's a balancing act in the NFL. You're going to get lucky some weeks, and you're going to get unlucky some weeks. It's just how many times more are you going to be lucky than unlucky? And the Vikings, up to this point, have been very lucky. Like, it's the balance of scales is like this. So now I think it's got to, come back to the middle at some point. And I think the Vikings struggle in this game. I do. I don't think you see a bounce back for this team. And I don't agree with the public putting 80% of the money of the spreads on the Vikings here. I think that's just irrational. We're getting 2.5 in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, primetime, Thanksgiving, yeah. That's what I'm seeing, and it's just not a smart move at all. Patriots will win this game. Patriots money line, that's my pick, and I love that we're on the same page here. I know. Are you taking money line or 2.5?
I'm going to stick 2.5.
Okay, that's fair.
I trust you, but I do trust them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be afraid to pick the money line.
No, and look, the money line is honestly a little scary, but
it's Thanksgiving.
I'm probably going to be a little drunk by then, so let's go.
Also, the Bears play the Jets on Sunday, so that could be another. Depending, the Bears have been putting up points, but the defense, Jets could save them. Depends on if they start Wilson or not for the Jets. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But this has been a wild one.
Thanksgiving Day special.
A little short, but very sweet.
Well, it's a great day of football, and we wanted to cover these games because, what's better than betting on football on Thanksgiving Day when you're with your family, you're with your crazy uncle who's telling you to screw off because you're laughing at him because he put like $100 on the Lions and they're getting blown out. But hey, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have fun.
You know what? Ride with your crazy uncle tomorrow.
Ride with your crazy uncle. I don't know. Do it. It's up to you, really.
You do what you want. You do what you want. But run it down for us.
All right. So, quick rundown here. Bills at Lions. Lions plus 9.5. We're both riding with the Detroit team.
Woo!
The crazy kitties from the Motor City.
Rawr.
Giants at Cowboys minus 9.5 in Jerry World. I got the Giants plus 9.5. You have them boys minus 9.5. And then in the the Thursday night special, Patriots at Vikings on NBC. You have the Patriots minus 2.5, and I got the Patriots money line. Let's get this money. Let's get this turkey. Let's get this stuffing. Let's get this potatoes, sweet mash. I don't care. We're going to have a great time tomorrow, and we're going to have a great time watching some football. It's the best holiday of the year, in my opinion. Nothing beats it. So let's have some fun. Let's eat it up, and let's win some money in the process.
Of course, man. Stuff that turkey and stuff those pockets.
Oh, I love that.
Big day tomorrow. Or I guess it's today now. It is today.
It'll be coming out today, right?
Yeah, it is today. So y'all have a great Thanksgiving on behalf of Squeeze the Juiced, Evan and myself.
Yes, have a happy Thanksgiving and, wake up to a little juice. I know Wednesday night's a big bar night. So look, cure that hangover with a little Squeeze the Juice. Maybe while you're wearing your shades like we are, getting some water in you, maybe a big breakfast before the feast. Maybe tune us in, turn us on, and listen to us making some picks. And while you are struggling to even keep your head up, ride with us, listen to us, vibe with us, and squeeze the juice, baby. That's my monologue.
And as always, in a whisper, go Lions. We'll see you next time, everybody. Peace.